Hello, good morning. Oh, hello, good morning on day 48. I hope I was right with that day. Mm, I'm waiting a few moments to see if anyone wants to join this Saturday morning. Seems a promising day. It's getting a little sunny outside, and I'm going to talk today about self-sabotage. And I self-sabotaged myself this morning, so proof of that already. Anyway, I get back to that in a second. Well, good morning. Um, Yes, the topic today is self-sabotage. Um, I'm receiving beautiful feedback from you, from some of you, and thank you for that because it really helps to feel where you're at and what you're struggling with. And I'm going to be very radical today, I think. I'm going to be very blunt and direct with you today. So if you're right now in a state where you feel very vulnerable, either you might want to watch this later, or be very brave and watch it and be open to be really shaken up today. Because everything I'm sharing here today is I honestly share it from a place of love, or not but. At times it just is needed to get yourself out of this loop that you hold yourself in. And because the mind is so tricky, it just keeps you in this loop. And I want to pull you out of that. And sometimes a more direct message or a more blunt message or something that might get you really angry might help you to shift or to look at it a different way. And it's always more easy if you look at someone else's challenges and his lack beliefs. I don't know if you have noticed yourself when you read someone else's lack beliefs who was sharing it, then you might think like, do you really believe that is true? Because I can't believe that's true for you, because it feels like something you can get over with because it's not relevant to you. It's easier to see it for the other person that it's not such a relevant thing. And so if you see that, if we would share everything together, and that's why I'm so encouraging you to share together, because seeing someone else's lack beliefs and contemplating for yourself on that and thinking, well, that's not so relevant for me, you can see the irrelevance, so to say, for the other person so more easily because it is not relevant for you. So it's so much easier to look at a distance to a certain issue for someone because it's not your issue. But as soon as you look at your own issue, your own lack belief, you can't see that perspective. You can't see the irrelevance of it. You can't see that it's actually just bullshit you're writing. Because in the end, nothing is true. You believe it to be true and you hold on it to be true. Like, I'll start with a very simple, irrelevant example, but was very true to me. I was really scared of being laughed at, and I'm still scared of being laughed at. That's something what happened when I was young and kind of never left my system. So learning a new language is something that scares me because I'm afraid of being laughed at when I make a mistake. It's a silly thing, I know. I can even see it as a silly thing, but it's still a fear within me that I notice myself, I'm holding myself back as soon as a situation appears, that I am afraid that I might be laughed at. So I take control of the situation and I stop doing the things I would actually love to do. And I started my voice coach classes a couple of weeks ago because I wanted to open up this throat area. And I happened to be challenged or asked actually to sing there. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to sing because I'm not good at singing. I never sing. I don't like singing, everything. I think I shared it already. So I went. I'm now continuing with those classes, and I start to like singing. It's actually quite nice to do, and I don't have any intention to become a good singer. It's just a nice thing to do, a nice activity to do. It's nice to hear yourself sing. Although when I hear myself sing, it's like hearing a stranger singing, because I'm so not used to hearing my voice in a singing way. So what happens then when I got into my Spanish class for the third time or fourth time? He asked me to sing a Spanish song. And I thought I was actually laughing at myself, like, oh my God, life is really showing me everything at the same time. So okay, now you're afraid you're being laughed at when you're singing, you're afraid you're being laughed at when you speak a language. Now you have to combine the both. And I'm laughing at it now, but at that moment I completely paralyzed. So I did do the singing because I kept telling myself, I have to do this, I have to do this. Come on, you can do this. So I did do the singing, and it actually went quite well, of course. But then after that, I had to continue with the lesson, and I was completely paralyzed. I couldn't think of one single Spanish word anymore. So my whole system was blocked with fear that had come up because of this fear of being laughed at. And after the session, I literally fainted. There was so much fear in my system that I literally felt so sick that I almost fainted. But I was completely losing it. To me, that's just a signal that something is releasing out of my system. It's just literally something that was blocked there somewhere, and it's just releasing it. So what I'm trying to say here with this very simple example, it's that fear is an illusion. So we're constantly self-sabotaging ourselves by creating and holding on to a fear that we believe to be true. Even if we say that we have a fear of being hurt by someone else, that's just not true. No one can hurt you. You can experience things that you don't like being left by someone and then feel very lonely and feeling literally left. But it's not the end of your life. It's not the end of, you're not dying at that moment. It's not that core fear of dying. It's the fear of preventing something, that you're not getting hurt. I understand that fear because that's very, very natural to humans. But if you really look at that fear, how true is it that someone can really, really hurt you? Because it can only hurt your expectation of the circumstance, that it's not going to be as happy as you would have liked it to be, or it's not going to be as easy as you would have liked it to be. But what's the real fear underneath that? That you might not succeed, for instance, or that you might be left, or you might not be loved by someone, but what's the fear underneath that? That you feel lonely, okay, and what's the fear underneath that? Keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper, and in the end you see, like, you can ask yourself the question, what's the worst thing that can happen? And if that happens, how would I feel then? Would it stop my life? Would it end my life? Would I die? I did this extreme exercise with the idea of losing a child. And I really went through it like it happened almost in reality. And I thought, like, okay, what's everything I can think that I can come up with that would happen? And I don't have to share that, because I think you can all relate to that. But in the end, I thought, like, okay, my life might feel different, but I haven't died. It won't stop. I can still find joy in my life. I can still continue my life, because my child's life is not my life. That's just a little part of it. So then I looked at all the different things that are still there then, even if the child is gone. And that won't change. Only my feeling towards that situation can change. But I have a choice there. I have a choice to not accept that feeling, to not feel sorry for myself for the rest of my life because I lost a child. And I know this sounds really harsh if you are a person that lost a child. So I'm very, very, very direct here, I know. But just be very honest. If if that what's your greatest fear in the situation you might imagine that can happen, like losing this child, and your life is 100% useless after that, so nothing ever will make you feel happy, or you can't enjoy anything anymore, nothing ever, then there might not be a reason for you to live anymore, and then that's your choice. But for me, I couldn't get that far. I was like, no, my life will still be okay. I will lose something I really, really desperately love, but life will show me something else, probably that I cannot think of right now, that make me feel okay. I will still have my other two kids. I will still have my relationship. I will still have, um, I'll have my job I love. I will still do the things I love. I can still travel. I have a choice there. And then you can say, well, it's not happening to you. So how can you know? Of course, I cannot know. But that's not the point here. I'm just inviting you to be very honest and very, very radical honest with yourself. What is it actually you're fearing? Because if you keep yourself, if you keep the sentences in your head alive, then you cannot change that. You cannot let go of that. You keep holding on to something. And I think that 80% of what you believe to be true is not true. You might fear 10 or 20 or even less, or 1% you might be true. That could happen. Yes, we all could die tomorrow. It could happen, yes. Statistically, that's a possibility. But how big is the chance? And even, what is the fear about dying? I don't have any fear around dying, by the way. The only fear I can feel, I don't even feel fear. I only think, well, that's a pity. I can't enjoy this beautiful life any longer. I don't have a fear around dying because this body is just gone. That's all. I feel very sorry for the people I leave behind. I can grieve for that, but I don't have a fear for dying. That's something different. Because we mix up so many things not to be really honest with ourselves. And that's this tricky mind that just keeps coming in. Yes, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. If anything, a yes, but comes up, then the first sentence before the but you don't believe to be true. So, when you have a lack belief, just really question yourself. How true is that lack belief? How true, how likely is that I'm not good at that, or that I'm not loved, or I'm not seen, or I'm afraid to be heard, or I'm afraid to be laughed at, or how true is that? It's only true in my belief system. I can only feel laughed at if I let that happen, because another person in the same situation might just laugh at that silly mistake, but don't feel anything, or doesn't feel any feeling of uncomfortable, of discomfort with it, because it's just a silly mistake. So I'd almost ask you to really, really be very, look at from a third person to your own situation. And then pick one or two things you really want to change, and take action. Not just keep contemplating and deepening, and you can continue with that forever. But it won't all come up now. It only comes up when you're ready for it. So take one of two things you would like to see change, and think of something, how you can change that, how you can challenge that, how you can prove yourself that it's not true. Like I'm now doing with this Spanish lesson. I'm not there yet. I'm still struggling with it. But I'm not stopping it anymore. First of all, I just want to learn that language. And secondly, I just want to so strongly, or it might be even the first thing, to get over that fear of being laughed at. Because it's silly. It really is silly. Any one of you would say to me, that's silly. And you're right, it is. But if it's such a fear for me that I'm almost fainting after that because there's so much tension in my system, then it's just as true for my system at that moment as something that I might think of like, why are you making such a fuss about? Or decide to not to believe it anymore. So don't fall in the trap of self-sabotaging. Don't fall in the trap because you just keep holding yourself back. If you really want to do this journey to liberate yourself from anything that holds you back, that's liberation to me. That you can just do whatever you like and live the way you like and feel loved and love yourself, so nothing holds you back. That you feel limitless, that you feel fearless. If you really want that, then start making changes. Start taking action. Start trying things out. And if you don't know how, ask for help. Ask for help in the group. Ask for help to your partner or to a friend. Or sometimes you're so blocked you can't even see a step forward. I understand that. But then ask for help. Because if you're not asking for help, you're accepting that victim role. You're accepting the victim position. If you don't know how to get connected to your feelings, then take action and do the practice I'm sharing with you here. Do it daily. Do it very ruthlessly. Do it 2-3 hours a day. And don't accept that you don't have time. Do it. You have to open up your system. So if this feeling issue is an issue for you, you have to open up your system by just practicing it and waking up the senses in your system. Because it hasn't been waken up before. It hasn't been used. It's not working for 30 or 40 or 50 years. So you can't expect it to work by just one practice. You can't expect it to work by just thinking about it. I want to feel my feelings. No, you have to practice. You know, that's my biggest joy and belief and passion about these 99 days, because if you don't do the practice daily, then you don't really want to change. Then you just want to understand how it works differently. And that's helping. That's already waking up, and that's already self-reflecting, and that's already doing first steps. I know. And I'm very happy with it as well, if you're happy with it. But I'm very radical. I wanna get to the bottom of everything. Every little detail within me. Because it's my choice to be free, to be liberated. And if you're not as radical as me, but you know by now that you have a block here, you have a resistance, you have something that you cannot get over with, then unravel that. Really be very honest with yourself and keep asking questions. What's the worst thing that can happen to me if that happens? Until you get to the point like, well, if that happens, then I really die. Like if I climb a mountain without any security and I'm not an experienced climber, yes, I will die because I will fall because I don't have the experience. So I can't do that. I have to practice first. Unless I'm so fearless that I so trust myself and so believe in myself, then I can do that. But honestly, I still think I need some little practice there. But most of the things we're fearful of is just a fear in our mind. It's just a fear in our system. It's just a believed fear. It's not something that really is not there. Or it's really happening. If you're hurt as a child, How likely is it someone can hurt you in the same way now you're an adult? How likely is that? So pin it down to where that fear initiated. So my fear around that laughing was created when I was 5 or something, I think. And it happened again when I was 12. Silly examples. So I know now, okay, it happened then, but that was the child who felt insecure. I'm a complete different person right now. So how likely is it that I'm still accepting, or no, not how likely. Am I worth it to still accept that feeling? No, I'm not. I'm not worth it to hold on to that. I'm not worth it to keep myself small. I'm not worth it not to ask for love from someone else, or someone else to be kind to me and sweet to me. I'm worth it to ask for that. I'm worth it to feel strong and empowered. I'm worth it to feel liberated. I'm worth it to feel confident about myself. Because even that confidence is even just a confirmation of the mind. If you feel true confident, you wouldn't use the word confident. You feel like this fearlessness and this inner empowerment, which is so much deeper within you. And confidence is just a role you play. So this practice of connecting to your deeper inner presence, your inner self, is needed also because of when we can't let go of those fears, we are kept in the loophole actually of the identity. So we keep repeating this same process all over again if we try to solve it within the identity. So if you try to solve like from insecurity to feeling confident, you're doing that within the identity. So I'm a more confident person now. I feel as an identity confident about my skills, about my capabilities, about my looks, about my successes, but that's within the identity. If you're not so attached to that anymore and you can feel the deeper layer within you, then you can even observe that confidence is just a trick of the mind. It's just one part of the identity. And you're not that. That's why I don't believe in personal development, because that's all happening within looking at the different aspects of your identity, of your personality, and the lack beliefs within that. All the lack beliefs are happening within the identity. So if you're ready to let go of that, to let go of the attachment to that identity, I'm using deliberately attachment because it's not about letting go of the identity as such, because you will always have that personality in a way. You won't change completely. But the attachment to holding on to that keeps you in those fears and those lack beliefs. So, and if something is really big for you, like something you cannot change right now, then leave it. Find positive actions, find positive confirmation in other areas. Focus on areas you can change. Focus on areas where you can feel self-worthiness again. Even the self-worthiness is within the identity. But that's one of the deepest layers. It's one of like this full embracement of all these different traits of your identity. And then when that's all embraced, you automatically can let go of that. And then you are who you are, really. You're fully self-realized then. So it's a constant play in this journey of something that happens in the identity, and you're trying to conquer that. You're trying to heal that. You're trying to let go of that until you have seen all the aspects of that what holds you small. And then you can fully embrace yourself, your identified self, the person that you are in this life. And then that's actually, you can let go of that, and then you're fully self-realized. And it doesn't happen all at once. Well, for some people it does. They have this full awakening at once, but most of people just refine and refine and refine and refine. And don't fall for the trap to do everything at once either. Just take the things that you can handle now and show yourself that it's changing. So stop thinking about it. Take action now. Pick something as small as you can think of, so you can prove yourself, oh, well, it wasn't so bad. Oh, I wasn't laughed at when I sang a song for someone else. I actually received a compliment. I couldn't receive that compliment actually because I was so caught up in my lack belief, but and I'm using my own examples here not to I'm using it to make it so small and reachable, I hope. Because if I can do it, you can do it. I'm not able to do it now because I've been diving deep into this for 7 years. The only thing that might be different is that I'm more connected to my presence. But if you've been in this journey now for 45 days or 47 days, whatever, then you already should be able to feel some connection there if you've done the practice daily, 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 daily. So see it like Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie, who was so dedicated to work out for 4 hours in the evening, every evening, to become this bodybuilder when he was only 20 or something. And we are so afraid of practice, this thing, going into meditation, going into silence. We're so afraid of that because we're actually fearful of what might come up. We're so used to being in the mind and being occupied by daily activities, by daily random things, by thinking about everything, that we are afraid of silence. So what is it then that you're afraid of? Ask yourself. What will show if you go into that direction? What will show to yourself that you're not good at something? Okay, well, it's better to know than not to know. And then ask yourself, okay, I'm not so good at that. How true is that? Is it really true? Is it just a belief? Is it something that happened in the past and it's still true? Is it true every single second of my life? No, it's only true in certain circumstances. Okay, what are the circumstances? Go ask yourself repetitively all those questions. And then if you're really stuck with something, if you really cannot go any further, you might ask for some reflections from someone else who might say it differently to you, and then you might be able to go a layer deeper. That requires courage as well, I understand, being so vulnerable. But then what's the worst thing that can happen? That you might cry? Okay, then you cry for the first time in your life, or the second time. What's the worst thing that can happen? That it feels really bad? Yes, it will feel shitty. Yes, it does. But what's the worst thing that can happen? You feel sad for a few hours, a few days. Is it worth to go through that because you know it will change? You know it will change your life. If you don't believe it will change your life, then it's a hard time going through with it. But then, why don't you believe that? Then go that way. Why don't you believe that this will change your life? Why don't you believe if you let go of that lack belief, it will change your life? So look at it from every different angle you can think of. And keep asking the questions, keep asking the question, and answer it, and answer it, and answer it, and go, and layer, layer, layer. And really sit with it. Okay, well, this is for this beautiful Saturday. I hope this helps to get you out of something that holds you back. And thanks again for sharing so openly. I hope this session was not too direct. And at the same time, I do hope it was very direct. Because if this helps to wake you up in every single thing of, no, blah, that's a weird sentence. If this really helps to wake you up, then that's the best session I could create for you. Okay, that's it for now. See you back tomorrow.